Hello, everyone. This is Ray Savage with Cambium Networks. Thank you for joining us on today's webinar about the business case for wireless backhaul for Wi-Fi hotspots. We have a number of guests joining us today. We have Sagar Deshpande from Cambium Networks, our product manager. Darren Hermans, product manager for Wi-Fi solutions with Cambium Networks. Praveen Sampath, who is from Facebook Connectivity, is able to join us today. And as we go through the course of the presentation, certainly the webinar is being recorded, but if you do have any questions or anything you'd like to have us clarify for you, please use the question and answer dialog box on the right-hand side of your screen. The presentation will be also posted to the Cambium Networks community and on YouTube for viewing later. So if you want to share that, you'll be more than able to do so. So without any further ado, let's get started. Next slide, please, Olivia. Well, when you look at Wi-Fi and Wi-Fi backhaul, it's a huge opportunity. And the goal is to be able to deliver Wi-Fi when and where people want it, and make sure that you can provide it at that supports the demand levels that people are expecting, but also able to do it at a reasonable cost. When you look at the millions of dollars that are invested for Wi-Fi hotspots in 2024, and also the average cost of running fiber, which is roughly about $19,000 US per mile, it becomes really a business case rather than just saying, you know, we're going to go out and put up Wi-Fi hotspots. What you have now is a choice. By having multi-gigabit wireless connectivity, you can actually use that to deploy Wi-Fi hotspots in outdoor locations. And in the course of this presentation, that's what we're going to be focusing on to be able to plan and execute reliable, cost-effective outdoor Wi-Fi backhaul with wireless connections. So without any further ado, Praveen, I'd like to turn the microphone over to Praveen Sampath from Facebook Connectivity.
Yeah, thank you, Ray. Thank you, everyone, for attending. Just going to walk through the next few slides talking about the opportunity we see in this space. So in this slide, we just give you an idea of the different kind of verticals where we think Terragraph-based Wi-Fi backhaul solution would be, very relevant. First would be in outdoor municipal and city Wi-Fi. So this could be like in the street corner, outside municipal buildings. So anywhere where fiber cannot reach at an economical cost, and we need a different alternative to deliver gigabit backhaul to Wi-Fi, that would be a very good use case or application for the Wi-Fi backhaul part here. So the second one would be inter-campus connectivity. Say you have a main building where you have a wired connection, say fiber. But you have all these satellite offices spread around the campus, and you can't trench or dig fiber to each of them just because it's cost prohibitive. You could use a Terragraph-based backhaul solution to actually beam multi-gigabit capacity from one building which has fiber to another building which does not. And considering the cost point of Terragraph, this would be extremely attractive in order to make the business case and to deploy very quickly. The third one would be campgrounds, parks, and playgrounds. And fourth would be something like venues. Let's say you go to a stadium, you go to a convention center or other big arenas, and there is fiber at some central building, maybe the main building in a stadium. And then there's a bunch of these other areas spread around where you need Wi-Fi hotspots so that people can roam around, get a good seamless experience. In those cases also, Terragraph becomes very useful because now you have, you could spread capacity around up to almost 2 kilometers of distance, and you could do multi-gigabit. And to that, you can connect a bunch of Wi-Fi hotspots and deliver a pretty good experience for your users. Next slide, please, Olivia. Yeah, so this slide just talks about how we see the size of the opportunity. So the addressable market for across the different verticals, the verticals being higher education, healthcare, as I said, in hospital buildings, like the main building has fiber, but the satellite offices do not. In that vertical, government buildings, local, city, municipal, hotels and restaurants, venues and stadiums, retail space, also public access and managed services. So across these verticals, we see Terragraph-based backhaul being extremely useful to actually address areas where Wi-Fi hotspot coverage is needed. And the total addressable market for across all these verticals is about 50 million APs over the next 5 years. So this is to give a different kind of backhaul over the next 5 years. Next slide, please, Olivia. Yeah, so another reason why we're excited is that we are at an inflection point where 11AX is being slowly replaced. I'm sorry, 11AC is being slowly replaced by 11AX, right? This particular graph shows the number of APs shipped from 2021, projected number of APs to be shipped from 2021 to 2025, right? And we've broken it down into 4 categories. What are the new 11AX units that are going to be shipped, shown by green? What are the 11AX units that will be replacing existing 11AC? What will be the new 11AC, which is shown in red? And the last category is the replacement 11AC units. So the trend line is very clear. 11AC APs are getting phased out, and we see the total 11AC units, be it replacement or new, drop from about 49% of the total APs to almost 0 in the next 5 years. And what's replacing them are going to be either new 11AX units or replacement 11AX units. And as you know, 11AX comes with some incredible advancement. By 11AX, I mean Wi-Fi 6 comes with some incredible advancement in the AP technology, where it can go all the way up to 2 gigabits per second or higher. So for AP with that kind of capacity, you need a backhaul that matches the access part. So that's why we're really excited that we see both in new 11AX units being shipped, and also for the replacement 11AX units, you would need a more robust backhaul. And wherever fiber is available, great, that's fine, and that's perfect. Wherever fiber is not, we see Terragraph as an extremely good fit as a backhaul technology for those markets. Yeah, so that gives you a good flavor on where the opportunity lies for Terragraph for Wi-Fi backhaul. Now I'll turn it over to Sagar to take it from here.
Thanks, Praveen. Next slide, Olivia. Thank you. So the cnWave 60 gig solution is the ideal backhaul solution. As Praveen mentioned, if fiber is not available, we can do point-to-point as well as point-to-multipoint capability. Our cnWave product is Terragraph certified, and it also supports mesh. And Ray will be going through some of the scenarios in different in locations where Wi-Fi 6 can really collaborate well with the 60 gig to provide like this backbone of high capacity, and which can get translated to a high download capacity on the subscriber or the customer AP side. We have 3 products. We have the V5000, as we see over here. That's a distribution node, so that can talk to subscribers, as well as another V5000 as well. We have 2 client nodes. One is the V1000, which is the mid-gain client node, and the V3000, which is the high-gain client node. All the radios are Terragraph certified and IP66, 67 capable. The V5000 can support up to 15 Gbps capacity with channel bonding. That's one of the key features of the 802.11ay standard. And of course, all of the products are capable and compatible with cnMastro applications. All right, next slide, Olivia. Thank you. So just to delve a little bit deeper on the V5000. So the V5000 is a dual sector radio, which means it has 2 sectors, sector 1 and sector 2. It covers 57 to 66, that is channel 1 to channel 4, so 4 channels that are combined. And the modulation can go from BPSK to 16 QAM with ACM. The capacity that we support on the V5000 without channel bonding is 1.9 Gbps uplink and then 1.9 Gbps downlink per sector. So if you have to multiply that by 2 for both the sectors. And if you have channel bonding enabled, which is planned for some time later this year or early next year, the capacity doubles to 3.8 Gbps uplink and 3.8 Gbps downlink. The total coverage of the V5000 is 280 degrees with beamforming, so you don't need an alignment and all that stuff. You, as long as you point it in the right direction and have a pole mount, you should be able to cover a wide area of coverage. The V5000 also supports up to 30 subscribers, and in those 30 subscribers, 4 of them could be made into DNs or could connect up to other DNs. So this gives you the capability of a mesh and kind of grow out your network as and when you configure the network. Also, one of the key advantages of 60 gig and CNWave products is its latency. The latency is sub 1 milliseconds. So in case you want to have maybe a few hops, especially in a mesh kind of environment, having a very low latency really helps out a lot. Right. So this was the high level overview. We do have a few other videos which talk about CNWave in further detail. I'll hand it over to Ray for the next slide. Thanks, Ray.
Thank you, Sagar. And just as a note to everybody that's in the audience today, if you want to get some of the detailed spec sheets on the equipment that Sagar just reviewed, you can go to the right-hand side of your screen, and you should be able to find the handouts section there. You'll find that the spec sheets are there. Also, there's a white paper on Wi-Fi backhaul there. So as we look at the applications and where to put the product, one of the first ones is just your basic outdoor Wi-Fi hotspot. The benefits would be that it exceeds fiber speeds, where our solution could offer up to 3.8 gigabits. And obviously, as we talked about with the cost of deploying fiber, you don't need to get fiber access rights in order to put in this sort of an architecture. It can be done very quickly, no trenching labor, and the permits, things like that would not be a problem. It's also a repeatable and predictable installation, so that once you get through your first one, it'll be very easy to replicate it. And so the products that we're using that would commonly be used in this case, we've got an outdoor 802.11ac Wave 2 dual radio at the Wi-Fi layer. And then we're using our 60 gigahertz V1000 as a client node, the V3000 client node, and the V5000 distribution node. The other benefit is that all of this can be done using our CN Maestro cloud-based management system, so that you can have a common view of how all of these elements are performing in real time, and also you'd be able to troubleshoot it. So all the way from the DN to the CNs to the AP, you would have visibility. Let's take a look at the next application. So this would be a municipal Wi-Fi mesh, and this is an application that many folks are, network operators are trying out around the world. The benefits would be now you've got a redundant mesh with distributed wide area network interconnects, so that if one link goes down, the network can survive and continue providing connectivity. Just as the case as we've seen with all wireless deployments, it's a lower cost deployment because you don't need to do the fiber access and you don't need to do the trenching. And again, it's a repeatable, predictable installation, so that very quickly you can learn from your experiences, in one case, leverage that into the next deployment. So the products that we would use in this case, again, you'd have an 802.11ac Wave 2 Wi-Fi access point. You'd have your V3000 client nodes, because those are configured for meshing, and you've got your V5000 two-sector distribution node, and also CN Maestro Cloud Management. Let's take a look at the next application, please. Very popular, enterprise Wi-Fi. And this could be the case with either a school application, a small business, or a branch office, rather small enterprises. The benefits would be that now what you're doing is a switch to the architecture itself, and that switch would bring policy-based network automation. So that what you can do is have the switch actually self-configure, have that be able to be rapidly installed and support the network. The intelligent network adapts automatically to changes in the network, and you still have the multi-gigabit Wi-Fi, Ethernet, and broadband. So in this case, the one thing you're adding is the Ethernet switch with policy-based automation. You've got your Wi-Fi 6 tri-radio with dedicated sensor and software-defined radio. And again, you've got your V3000 client nodes and your 60 gigahertz V5000 distribution node. And CN Maestro still covers all of the network. So there's no finger pointing, there's no trying to do separation and isolation. And let's go to application. And this would be a larger enterprise application. So instead of a school or a small business, now what we're looking at is an entire industrial park, a transportation hub, something much more significant. Again, what you would have is policy-based network automation in your Ethernet switches. You'd have multi-gigabit Wi-Fi, and you would have automatic RF control and directional antennas. So the products that you would use in order to connect the entire enterprise application is a CN Matrix Ethernet switch with policy-based automation, indoor and or outdoor Wi-Fi 6 access points, and we've got our CN Wave V3000 client node and a V5000 distribution node. Again, all managed with CN Maestro. And this can actually, the CN Maestro can actually cover the enterprise application, and also if there's a remote office, it can do those now. And I do see we have one question on the question queue. Can we buy these radios now? So Sagar, can you help us with that one?
Sure, Ray. So we are already taking pre-orders, and yeah, you should be able to buy any of our products that you see on your screen. So V5000, V3000, or V1000.
Okay, and Sagar, Richard also asked, so Wi-Fi is dependent on the bandwidth feed coming into a school, for example. Is that correct?
That is correct. So maybe we can delve a little bit deeper on that. So Olivia, can you go back a slide with respect to the school deployment? I think one more.
That's it. It's right there.
Yeah. Thank you. So here we can clearly see that, of course, it makes sense that the bandwidth coming into the school depends on your backhaul capacity. It also could be that you're using the same bandwidth for other applications inside the school for maybe video surveillance. So it's not just your school Wi-Fi for children to get access to the internet. It could be continuous capacity that's also being absorbed throughout your entire network. Or you could have servers running different applications as well. So the short answer is yes, it depends on the bandwidth, and the long answer is we can add many more applications rather than just like school based specifically for education purposes.
Great, thank you very much, Sagar. All right, I think it's time for our first poll question. So Olivia, can you set that up for us, please? So the question is, what Wi-Fi backhaul applications will be in your early deployments of 60 gigahertz? And we'd like you to select all that apply, whether that's enterprise Wi-Fi for an industrial park or a transportation hub, a single enterprise, whether that's for a school, small business application, or branch office, municipal Wi-Fi mesh network, an outdoor hotspot, or something else. So we'll give everybody a minute or two, just type in the one that I guess is going to be the most popular for you. Okay, and we'll give it maybe just a little bit longer. Okay, and Olivia, if you can show the results. Well, that one's interesting because Muni Wi-Fi mesh is out in front. Enterprise to connect a small school is second. Enterprise Wi-Fi for an industrial park, outdoor hotspots, and other finished last. So it looks like the big networks for the ones that are providing public Wi-Fi are leading the way. Thank you, Olivia. And just in summary, what I'd like to do is just cover, next slide, please, Cambium's applications for multi-gigabit wireless fabric. As you've seen in the presentation, we offer outdoor point-to-point, point-to-multipoint, and now multi-gigabit wireless access wireless distribution networks, which can be used in urban applications, indoor and outdoor applications at school, residential applications, industrial, and also rural applications. And the main point is that these are proven perform units that can provide the lowest total cost of ownership per megabit delivered. In addition, you have one common dashboard of management system for cloud-based management and monitoring of the entire network. So if you're interested in more information, please go ahead and download the handouts. They're right here. This webinar will be available for replay on the Cambium community and also on YouTube. And what we'd like to do now is just offer folks one last chance. If you do have any questions, please go ahead and post them in the question and answer dialog box, and we will be sure to get to them. If you're looking for more information on Cambium networks, please just go ahead and type in contact us. We'll be glad to get back with you personally, talk about your individual situation, and we will be glad to work out a deployment plan complete with total cost so that you can do that comparison. Sagar, we did have another question came in from David. When will CN Maestro be able to support CN Wave?
That's a good question. So we plan to support CN Maestro on day one. So by the time the product comes out and you guys have it, we're still taking pre-orders, but probably shipping would probably start by end of this month, somewhere in that time frame. But by the time you guys get your hands on the radio, we should have CN Maestro already filled in.
Okay. And Tim is asking a question. I might need your help here too, Sagar. Where can I find more information on Open/R and how it's configured and how it all works?
Sure. Tim, actually on our learning.cambiumnetworks.com portal, we have put up 6 lectures or tutorials that walks you through each and every aspect of the CN Wave product, starting from V5000 to V3000 to V1000, including a GUI walkthrough as well as a deep dive into Open/R technology and what how it actually is configured on the radio.
Great. And just so everybody's clear, how do you get to those videos?
Yes, so you have to go log into learning.cambiumnetworks.com and register yourself, and then you should be able to take up these 6 courses.
Great. And David did have one more question. When will system release V6 be released, or SR V6 be released for CN Wave?
That's probably going to be also by the time you guys get your hands on the radio, so probably within this end of the quarter for sure.
Great. Great, and you're welcome, David. Thanks everybody for joining us. The webinar is being recorded and it will be posted to the community. Please contact us or your Cambium Networks reseller if you have more questions. Thank you, Sagar. Thank you also, Praveen, for joining us, and we'll look forward to seeing you on a future webinar. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, thanks, Brendan.
Thank you.